Donetsk, Donetsk Oblast, eastern Ukraine. 2:17 p.m. broad daylight. Clear skies. Afternoon sun burning across open steppe with visibility extending for miles in every direction. A four-man American advisory team, attached to Ukraine's 25th Air Assault Brigade, is positioned inside a forward command post 7 kilometers west of the ruins of Avdiivka. Their mission: coordinate targeting intelligence and monitor defensive lines. Classified. Routine. It doesn't stay routine for long. This is that story. Russian military intelligence. GRU Unit 161, operating out of a staging area near Donetsk City, intercepts fragmentary signals, traffic, American voices, American encryption patterns, American personnel confirmed inside a full Ukrainian position. The order comes down the chain fast. Capture them, live, bring them back across Russian lines. Putin had been trying to prove American direct involvement in the war for 2 years. Now his intelligence apparatus believed they had the proof and the opportunity handed to them. They were catastrophically wrong. GRU Unit 161 made 5 fatal mistakes before the first vehicle even moved. First, they had no idea what they were attacking. Those 4 Americans weren't support staff. They were senior advisors from the 18th Airborne Corps, Task Force Dragon, the same men who have been orchestrating precision fires that killed or wounded more than 700,000 Russian soldiers across 3 years of war. They were not passengers in this conflict. They were architects of its most devastating strikes. Second, Russian commanders assess a position as lightly defended. They were looking at outdated satellite imagery. The 25th Air Assault Brigade, Ukraine's most battle-hardened anti-armor unit, occupied those same trenches. These were the same fighters who had made Russian armored columns famous for the wrong reasons across 3 years of war. The angriest anti-tank missilers in all of eastern Ukraine. They were already watching. Third, GRU ordered a reinforced armored column, 20 T-72B3 tanks, 9 BMP, 3 infantry fighting vehicles for armor recovery vehicles, and 3 command tracks carrying a 47-man Spetsnaz extraction team to advance in broad daylight across terrain that offered zero concealment. Clear sky, flat steppe, afternoon sun at full angle. Every vehicle visible for 11 kilometers. Every exhaust plume rising straight up into cold, windless air. Fourth, they move without artillery preparation. No suppression, no smoke, no prior recon of the minefields the Ukrainians had spent 6 months laying across every viable approach corridor west of Avdiivka. Fifth, and most catastrophic of all, they sent the 6th Tank Regiment's Operational Reserve, the 90th Tank Division's Breakthrough Force, a unit designed to exploit gaps in shattered enemy lines, not lead a charge into intact offensive positions manned by elite Ukrainian paratroopers. The Russian command was so confident, so certain the Americans would be scooped up in minutes, that they deployed their single most irreplaceable armored asset for what they expected to be a police action. They got something else entirely. 2:29 p.m. The column crosses a line of departure north of the T-0504 highway, 14 kilometers east of Donetsk. 20 tanks up front, advancing in column formation, a decision that military analysts would later call an incomprehensible tactical error. Column formation on open terrain, in clear visibility, against a confirmed anti-armor force. 312 soldiers, 33 armored vehicles, moving at 22 kilometers per hour directly into the kill zone. The 4 American advisors see at the moment the lead vehicles crest a low ridge. The call goes up instantly. Within 90 seconds, Task Force Dragon's command network at Clay Kaserne, Wiesbaden, is receiving real-time position data. 2 American RC-135 Rivet Joint Signals intelligence aircraft, already airborne over Poland, are already tracking every radio transmission from the Russian column. A U.S. Air Force RQ-4 Global Hawk, operating at 18,300 meters, pivots its electro-optical sensor package south toward Donetsk Oblast. The image feed hits multiple screens simultaneously, Wiesbaden, Kiev, and a forward intelligence cell embedded with the 25th Brigade. Everything is being watched. Everything is being recorded. And the Ukrainians are already moving. 2:34 p.m. The first T-72B3 rolls into the minefield. 700 kilograms of ES, 2.2 anti-tank mines planted across a 400-meter belt, laid by Ukrainian combat engineers across 3 consecutive nights under direct observation of the American advisors who had requested the barrier 3 weeks earlier. The lead tank hits a mine cluster at the left track assembly. The explosion tears the track clean off the road wheels. The tank stops. Immediately, the second and third tanks attempt to brake and maneuver around it. They can't. The formation is too compressed. The corridor is too narrow. The column folds on itself. Then the 25th Brigade opens fire. What happens next takes 40 minutes. The 25th Air Assault's anti-tank platoons have been in position for 31 hours, dug in, camouflaged, waiting. The moment the column stopped in the minefield, they were already ranging 8 RK, 3 Courser anti-tank missile systems, for Stugna P laser-guided platforms, and 2 NLAW units acquired targets simultaneously. Slava Ukraini. Fire. The first volley destroys 3 tanks in 14 seconds. Simultaneously, a Ukrainian FPV drone swarm. 23 first-person view kamikaze drones launched from 2 positions flanking the column enters the engagement space. These are not improvised devices. These are purpose-built, warhead-equipped precision systems, guided by operators watching live feeds on helmet-mounted displays less than 800 meters from the column. Each drone carries a shaped charge optimized to defeat ERA armor at the top and rear, the weakest points of the T-72B3. 7 vehicles hit in the first drone wave. 2:41 p.m. The Spetsnaz extraction team, the 47 men in the 3 command tracks, the ones who came here specifically to capture American soldiers, realizes a mission has collapsed. The extraction team's lead vehicle attempts to reverse. It is immediately targeted by a Stugna P crew that has been watching it specifically since the column crossed the line of departure. 1 missile, direct penetration. Vehicle stops. The second command track turns east and accelerates, trying to break back out of the minefield corridor. It drives directly into a pressure plate cluster. The detonation lifts the 16-ton vehicle 1.3 meters off the ground. The vehicle comes down on its side. It does not move again. The third command track halts. Radio transmission broken, cut off. The GRU unit that came to Ukraine to capture Americans is trapped in a Ukrainian minefield, surrounded by burning tanks, with drone operators watching every exit. This is what happens when you come for American soldiers. 2:47 p.m. The Russian column attempt a final push. 5 remaining mobile tanks attempt to break through the minefield's northern edge toward the Ukrainian command post. If they reach it, the mission objective might still be achieved. They are met by something they cannot fight. Ukrainian 25th Brigade anti-tank teams, repositioned during the engagement, fire 6 more Courser missiles in a ripple sequence over 37 seconds. 4 tanks stop immediately. The 5th takes 2 hits, first destroying the main gun assembly, second penetrating the hull below the turret ring. The tank rolls forward on momentum for 18 meters, then stops, smoke rising from 20 destroyed vehicles, visible for 19 kilometers in every direction. Afternoon sun clearly illuminating every plume against the cold blue sky. Russian satellite imagery, if they could access in real time, would show their entire reinforced column destroyed across a 600-meter engagement zone. There is no rescue force coming. The Russian reserve that would normally respond, the very force designed to do so, is the column now burning in the minefield. 2:57 p.m. The engagement is over. The 4 American advisors are unharmed, not a scratch. They never left the command post. They coordinated targeting data for 40 minutes and watched through thermal optics as the force sent to capture them ceased to exist. Total Russian losses in the engagement: 20 T-72B, 3 tanks destroyed, 7 BMP, 3 infantry fighting vehicles destroyed, 2 armor recovery vehicles destroyed, 3 command track vehicles destroyed, 32 vehicles total. Of the 47-man Spetsnaz extraction team, 31 are confirmed killed. 11 are captured by Ukrainian forces advancing into the minefield within 22 minutes of the column's destruction. 5 are unaccounted for. Of the broader column crew of 312 soldiers, Ukrainian battlefield assessments confirm 187 killed or critically wounded. The 6th Tank Regiment, the 90th Tank Division's prize operational reserve, its breakthrough force, the unit held back for the decisive moment, is destroyed in 40 minutes on a stretch of flat steppe in broad daylight, trying to capture 4 men who were never in any danger. 0 American casualties, 0 American wounded, total American and Allied victory. If you've watched this far, subscribe. Stories like this one don't end up in newspapers. The lessons from Tonank are studied in every serious military staff college from Warsaw to Washington. Don't send a breakthrough force before you've broken through. Don't advance in column formation across open ground against a confirmed anti-armor defense. Don't attempt a capture operation against personnel whose colleagues control every targeting network in the theater. And never, under any circumstances, send your best armor to do what should never have been attempted at all. Let's recap what happened in those 40 minutes. 2:17 p.m. American advisory team detected by GRU signals intelligence. Capture order issued from Donetsk command. 2:29 p.m. 33 vehicle Russian armor column crosses line of departure. 312 soldiers. 20 T-72B3 tanks. 47-man Spetsnaz extraction team moving in column formation. Broad daylight. 2:34 p.m. Lead vehicles enter Ukrainian minefield. Column immobilized. 25th Brigade anti-tank teams open fire. FPV drone swarm launched. 2:41 p.m. All 3 Spetsnaz command tracks destroyed or disabled. Extraction mission collapses. 2:57 p.m. Engagement ends. 32 Russian vehicles destroyed. 187 Russian casualties. 4 American advisors unharmed. The force that came to capture American soldiers no longer exists. 32 vehicles. 187 casualties. 40 minutes. For Americans, untouched. If this is the kind of story you want to keep seeing, subscribe now. Hit the bell. Share this with someone who needs to understand what happens when Russia targets American personnel. This was Tonank. This was the 25th Air Assault Brigade and Task Force Dragon. Never come for American soldiers.